You have decided to move forward and follow a design thinking process. Design thinking process, what it is that you want to involve your customer from the very beginning of the process, from the planning stage all the way to the delivery stage. And you want this to be an iterative journey together with your customer, that you're making sure that what you're building is something that your customers need and will understand how to use and actually will get value out of it. And value is the way that we are going to be able to make a viable business, because we are solving real problems from the users. So when we are in a design thinking process, the first thing that we need to do with a user is to empathize with them. We have to be able to understand properly what is the problem that they are facing, and not just for us to understand it, but actually validate with them that this is a real problem and we have understood it correctly. And this is done not just with one customer, it's done with a set of customers. Potentially these customers have to represent the user personas that we want to solve that problem for. This can be one, or maybe it can be several. You should not try to go to too many different types of user personas, because you need to focus on solving the problem correctly for a certain type of personas. Once we are able to empathize and understand the problem, we need to define the problem. We define the problem, and when we define the problem, we don't try to define the problem alone, we try to define the problem with the user. Of course, as part of this process is that we need to validate that this is a real problem with those users. The next phase is that we want to ideate. Once we understand what is the problem, we want to try to figure out what is the solution. So this is one of the key parts of being a product manager. But as always, it's very easy to jump into solutions without really having a proper understanding what is the problem. And this is why they say many times, we need to love the problem, not the solution. Because the solution can change over time and will change, and there's many solutions for the same problem. So what we've had to deeply understand is the actual problem. Ideation phases can be one of the most exciting parts of being a product manager, so remember to organize them properly and set the proper workflow or set the proper environment for them to happen in a fruitful way. The next one is that we want to prototype. So out of the ideation, we have a very nice solution that we would like to expose to our customers. The best way to expose this to our customers, not just by doing nice presentations and talking, is potentially showing some kind of prototype. Prototype can be many things. Sometimes it can be a mock-up of a product. Sometimes it can be just like a website where we are able to understand if people are interested in a potential solution. Sometimes it can be a low-level mock-up, or it can be a high definition or high-level mock-up. So it depends on how realistic the mock-up it is. Then you can work more like a wireframe if you don't want to have something very complex, or you can have something that is very similar to what the product is going to be once you release it. This is going to give you a very good understanding of how people perceive what you are building. And of course, finally, we build this mock-up for a reason. We want to test it with the customers, and we want to understand if this is something that is solving their problem, bringing them value, and it's actually easy to use and understand for the users. This is why it's very important that we are able to test with the customers and get their feedback and understand that this is going the direction that it should go and that is solving the problems that they need. So once you do your design thinking process, you will have two options. The first option is that you want to release it as soon as possible. You consider that you have validated quite well your prototype, your potential feature and product with your users, and you want to release it as soon as possible to all of them. Because you don't want to hold on to value, and you want to get feedback on this approach as soon as possible. And then there's the second option, where you want to do an A/B testing. Because you want to make sure that you're not breaking anything, that you are bringing value to the customers, and the customers understand how to adopt it and how to start using this product or feature. A/B testing can be done in many different ways. You can potentially release first to a certain type of users, or in a certain geography, or different type of conditions that you would think that certain users would be able to understand this feature first, and you will get a valuable insight on how they are using it. It's very important then, of course, that you can trace this testing and understand that people are actually knowing how to use the product, but also getting value out of it. And now it's time for you to pick an option.